Alright, so we're out here working on my 77 C10 again, and I just finished doing a series of videos on how to repair the front brakes and the front wheel bearings. And what I'm going to start now is how to repair the rear brakes and the rear wheel bearings. And particularly I'm going to be focused on the rear wheel bearings. Those are often neglected. People find it difficult to repair rear wheel bearings. So they're often completely neglected, and from what I've seen, frequently they're the original wheel bearings that came with the vehicle. So if your vehicle is 30 or 40 years old, then you got 30 or 40-year-old wheel bearings in the rear. I apologize for my dog barking. And one thing to make note of is when rear wheel bearings fail, they often lock up, and that's a very, very bad thing. So I haven't bought any parts yet. I got lucky on the front end, and that someone had replaced the rotors and the brake pads, and so all I had to do was take the rotors in, have them turned, and the brake pads were still good. You can watch those series of videos. There's 9 of them in total. And so anyway, the first step we got to deal with here is to do the rear wheel bearings. We have to pull the axle shafts out. So position your truck so that you've got space. You really need, keep in mind these axle shafts are about, they're not 3 feet in length, they're like 28 or 30 inches or 32 inches in length. But you need to give yourself at least 3 feet of working space to get those axle shafts out, and also to use slide hammer. I'll show you that when I get started. Slide hammer to pull the wheel bearings out. So make sure, I got a fence here, and so I positioned the truck so that I've got enough space here to get the axle shafts out and to work with my slide hammer. So just something to take note of, because it's kind of a pain in the butt. If you get the rear end jacked up, you get the wheels and tires and the brakes all removed, and then you find out you don't have enough space over here against an immovable object like a fence, and then you got to put everything back together and reposition the truck, and so it's a real big pain in the ass. So get the truck positioned first so that you got enough working space. I just dealt with that side. On this side I got plenty of room out here in the driveway. Even if you got your wife or your roommate's car or something like that out here, as long as it's movable, it's no big deal, because you can move the truck, you can move their car at any time. So I got plenty of space on the passenger side. On the driver's side I got this fence, so I backed the truck up here in the driveway a little bit. Unfortunately I'm out from underneath the carports. I'm out here in the sun. You ask, why don't I back it in? Well, that would give me even less space. As you can see, this fence kind of flares out here towards the alley. So if I go in there towards the front, I'm not going to have any room. So just sucks. Going to have to work in the sun, but I'm pretty much going to be working underneath the truck to start with. So I'll deal with it, no biggie. So anyway, we'll get on to the next step, which is to remove the differential cover and drain the differential. Alright, we're underneath the truck here, and we're going to start taking off our rear differential cover. And as you can tell, or maybe not, but I'm pretty lucky with this truck in that, I'm sorry about that, there was some big banging on the carport. Turns out it was a couple squirrels chasing each other. Anyway, I got pretty lucky, and I have a factory 12-bolt rear end, and I find it a little unusual considering this truck is a factory inline 6 truck, but nonetheless, whatever, I'm happy. I have a 12-bolt rear end. If you got a 10-bolt rear end, well, that sucks for you. No, I'm just kidding. 10 bolts are fine. But anyway, so we're going to come in here, we're going to take the diff cover off. I've already changed the diff fluid once. Pretty quick after I bought the truck, I changed the diff fluid. And so anyway, we're going to come under here, take out all these bolts, and these are all 1/2 inch. Take a 1/2 inch socket or a 1/2 inch wrench, whatever you want to use, and we'll take these out, And of course you want to have your catch can ready. If you've never dealt with differential fluid, gear oil before, it's some pretty nasty stuff. It smells terrible. It's got a real bad sulfur smell, kind of rotten egg smell to it. So try not to get it on your hands or stuff like that, because it'll smell pretty bad. So yeah, we're gonna get started taking this diff cover off. Alright, so I've started taking some of the bolts out, and I'll show you this right here. You can see I like to use the RTV sealant when putting the diff covers back on. Those little cork gaskets or the little paper ones, I'm not a big fan of those. Those tend to leak pretty soon. So I like using the RTV sealant. So anyway, we'll go ahead and finish taking all these bolts out. Alright, so we got most of the bolts out, and I'll show you something real fast. What I like to do is leave, I'll have to reposition here, leave the top two bolts in place. They're loose, see, I can turn them by hand, but they're still in place. And what that does is it allows the diff cover to stay on. And if you took it all out and then popped this diff cover off, all that gear oil would just kind of flow out and just kind of make a big mess, even if you got a catch can. When you leave these two top ones in, it holds the diff cover on just a little bit, and you get a little bit of a funnel effect, so it just kind of drains out the bottom here. And one thing to note, if you do have one of these catch cans, pop your little air release thing, because it'll get full in there and it'll need to bubble out, let the air escape. So pop your little air thing so it all just drops right down that center hole. So anyway, let's get in here and we'll pop the cover off. I just use a flat bladed screwdriver and a little hammer and just kind of tap it until it opens up. There we go. You can see some of that diff fluid and that stuff. It's kind of a shame to waste it. It's still in excellent condition. Nice and clear, not all grodied out. But yeah, I replaced all this fluid pretty quick after I bought this truck, and I've only put about 300 miles on this, so whatever. Gear oil is fairly inexpensive, so we'll replace it all. But yeah, just pry the cover up like that, leave the two bolts hanging, and just let it drain. I usually like to let it drain for, I don't know, give it half an hour or so, and let all that gunk kind of flow out of there. So we'll just leave that for a little bit, and I'll show you one more little trick.